I'm a garbage man for the super rich, and I found something so disturbing in their trash, I had to quit. It started like any other Tuesday. Route 7, the Gold Coast as we called it, the really, really fancy area. We were emptying bins at this massive place, all stone and marble, undergoing some serious renovations, like demo crews everywhere, dust flying, the whole 9 yards. And then I saw it. In the middle of all the debris, shattered tile, ripped drywall, you name it, was this music box. Not just any music box. This thing was antique, intricately carved, and looked completely untouched, pristine, like it had just come out of a museum. It was sitting there amidst all that destruction, like it didn't belong. I don't know why I did that, but I picked it up. It felt wrong, like I shouldn't have been touching it. It was just so out of place. I mean, seriously, who throws out something like that? It was beautiful, honestly, and expensive looking. Way more expensive than anything I've ever seen. I should have just left it, I know, but I didn't. A chill ran down my spine as I held it, and I couldn't shake the feeling that I was being watched. The thing is, this job, it came with a lot of strings attached. NDAs thicker than phone books. Strict instructions to never ask, never tell. We were basically invisible. We saw things, heard things, but we were never supposed to acknowledge them. It was part of the deal. The clients paid a premium for discretion. I've seen some strange things in my time. Let's just say the ultra-rich have some very peculiar habits. But this was different. This felt heavier, like it was connected to something bigger. I've always followed the rules, never cause trouble. But this music box, it started messing with my head. I kept thinking about it. Why would someone throw that away? It didn't fit. It just didn't. And the renovations, they were intense, like they were tearing the place apart to find something. I'm not usually one to pry, but I couldn't shake the feeling that something wasn't right. I should have just ignored it. I really should have, but I didn't. The unsettling feeling grew with each passing hour, and I found myself constantly glancing over my shoulder, wondering if I was being followed. So I did what any rational person would do, right? I Googled it. I know, breaking protocol, but I couldn't help myself. The moment I typed in antique carved music box, intricate floral design, a few results popped up. And wow, this wasn't just some fancy trinket. This was a serious antique. Apparently, they were only made for a very limited time by a specific artisan, and they were incredibly rare. The articles I found estimated the value at, well, let's just say it was more than my annual salary, times 10, easily. The melody it played, it was haunting. I'd never heard anything like it. It was this slow, melancholic tune. I found a recording online, and it was the same. The article mentioned it was often referred to as the lullaby of lost dreams. Creepy, right? I started feeling this weird sense of dread, like I'd stumbled onto something I shouldn't have. I should have deleted the search history. I really should have. But I didn't. The more I learned, the more I felt like I was unraveling a thread that was better left untouched. Okay, this is where it gets really weird. Against every ounce of common sense, I decided to dig a little deeper. I know, terrible idea. But I had to. I looked up the property records. It was a blind alley at first, just layers of shell corporations and trusts. But eventually, I found something. A previous owner. A family named Hawthorne. And then I found articles, old newspaper clippings mostly, about a missing child, a little girl named Eleanor, who disappeared from the property over 50 years ago. The last time she was seen, she was reportedly singing a lullaby. The same lullaby as the music box. I felt sick, absolutely sick. My hands were shaking. I had to sit down. This was way beyond strange. This was disturbing. I should have walked away, called the police maybe, but I was frozen, paralyzed by what I'd found. I didn't. The image of a little girl's face, faded and blurry in the newspaper clipping, kept flashing in my mind, and I couldn't shake the feeling that her story wasn't over. I started to feel like I was being watched. Every time I went back to that route, I felt like someone was observing me. I catch glimpses of movement in the windows, shadows in the trees. Probably just my imagination, right? But the feeling persisted. I started having trouble sleeping. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw that music box, heard that lullaby. I kept thinking about Eleanor Hawthorne, about what might have happened to her, and about the current owners. What were they hiding? Were they involved? I know, it sounds paranoid, but I couldn't shake the feeling that I'd stumbled onto something dangerous, something someone wanted to keep buried. I should have quit then, before things got any worse, but I didn't. The silence of my apartment felt oppressive, and I couldn't shake the feeling that someone was listening, even when I was alone. Turns out, I was wrong about the danger. It wasn't a sinister plot or a cover-up. It was something else entirely. I did more digging, and I discovered the current owners were descendants of the Hawthorne family. They'd inherited the property, and they were obsessed with Eleanor's disappearance. They believed the house held the key to solving the mystery. The renovations weren't just renovations, they were archaeological digs. They were tearing the place apart, searching for clues, for any sign of what happened to Eleanor. It was unsettling, to say the least. They weren't criminals, they were just desperately searching for closure. I should have felt relieved, that I wasn't in danger, but I didn't. A wave of pity washed over me, but it was quickly replaced by a growing sense of unease. Their desperation felt unnatural. They were meticulously documenting everything they found. Old letters, photographs, even fragments of toys. They believed the house itself held memories, that the walls whispered secrets. And the music box? They knew it. They knew it was Eleanor's favorite. They'd been searching for it for years. The renovations were focused on specific areas of the house, areas where Eleanor was last seen. They were essentially excavating their own family history. It was intense. I felt a strange mix of pity and unease. Pity for their loss, unease at their obsession. I should have just left it at that, walked away and forgotten about it. But I couldn't. The sheer scale of their search was overwhelming, and I couldn't help but wonder what they were truly hoping to find. I ended up confronting them. I know, stupid, right? I told them I'd found the music box, that I knew about their search. They were surprisingly calm, almost resigned. They explained their story, their decades-long quest for answers. They showed me their research, their maps, their theories. They weren't angry or threatening, they were just heartbroken. I started to understand their pain, their desperate need for closure. I felt conflicted. I'd initially intended to expose them, to reveal their obsession to the world, but looking at them, I couldn't do it. They weren't bad people, they were just lost. I should have just walked away, but I didn't. The weight of their sorrow pressed down on me, and I felt an inexplicable urge to help, despite the growing sense of dread.
Then they told me the truth. The music box wasn't thrown away. It was placed there, intentionally, as a test. They'd been trying to bait someone connected to the original mystery, into revealing themselves. They'd been waiting for decades, hoping someone would recognize the music box and come forward. They believed someone knew what happened to Eleanor, someone who had been hiding in the shadows for all these years. They were trying to lure them out. They were trying to bait a very specific person, someone they'd been searching for decades. Someone who knew more than they let on. I should have asked who, but I didn't. A cold wave of realization washed over me, and I suddenly understood the true depth of their obsession and the danger I might be in. I quit the job last week. I couldn't do it anymore. I'm still conflicted. Did I help them? Did I enable their delusion? More importantly, who are they really trying to reach? And why now? The whole thing is just unsettling. I keep thinking about that music box, about Eleanor Hawthorne, about the lullaby of lost dreams, and about the person they're still searching for. What would you do in this situation? I honestly don't know. I need to get away from all of this. I need to forget about it, but I don't think I ever will. And as I packed my bags, I couldn't shake the feeling that I was leaving something behind, something that would continue to haunt me long after I was gone.